I affirm public colleges and universities were committed to academic freedom, but that all changed on patriotic correctness, reigns supreme rules of that. In the wake of 9/11, academic freedom suffered away from patriotic correctness. Politicians manifest waiving and political make college prohibit banning dissent, thus plaintiffs resolve public colleges and universities in the United States on our state constitution protected speech to criticize the military's policies. Part 1 is offense. In this subsequent members of college routinely stances to criticize the military creating and showing the federal terms rules and 2. After some faculty and students, many others were acting to speak openly, UCLA resistance and hardly suspended after criticizing American policy and Iraq anti-military put up Professor Jobbers, Professor Kirsten, and our first get out of future the support tactics allowed no damage Kirsten can be suspended on the office and your professor was suspended for saying nothing drawing a sense of survey academic fair found left from creating supplements violations of liberties devastating because higher education unity position creating space for cultural shift away from military that takes back from neoliberal state control 07. Harking back make arguing mirror wage spending comes against institutions foster critical files where state because corporate security state wealthy individuals creating powerful ones for American university sacrificing critical pedagogy, the name patriotic correctness is treating the professor advocated culture of critical engagement where being labels on American higher education crucial where power can be critically engaging and people who refuse to take security say multiple events. Is culture for any military that control the contingent controlled sense of academia that means also the regards of increased charging matter 14. Military showing powerful military patriotism in the world the economy defense civilization integrity across producing national subject. Really matters what's permissible to specify activists nation must be fortified by educational foundation when I said is solely the actual structure the battle and regularly and containing less of left tendencies radical scholars cultural military makes use of one creates every demands by infusing thousands in Division 16. The cultural violence tries industry military and foreign policy states major tool enforcement state terrorism against by use as degeneration of military space for all practices of production of violence everyday violence are nourished by military power sociology constitute violence of ways of thinking or more particular considered social this always one is the conditional violence social differences are inevitable military makes them antagonist by normalizing violence respond to aggregation military and impacts conflict courage means by the time they impacts for the alpha still by between 3 started after the alpha and evidence syndicate military and censorship horizon South was only part of policy action can help people in political spell of academics use new scholarship great policy change proving liberalizing the university creates concrete material impacts 1288. The university can include subject previously trained only sensitive and suspend the state funding university grad research based from professor general to inform the knowledge of foreign policy professor external groups scriptures policy central American neighbors and calculate thought alternatives exchange of expertise with a wide variety of action groups and even military and spring strong critical factors responsible and willing to adopt alternative modes of thought and 16. Domination of notation require thoughts that education creates good medicine enables them to challenge systemic concern and counter power. People ways to think differently and critical education should be used as hard as possible rather than organized around fear should be willing to prefer as discover prevention sets up thinking importance of African substitute therapeutic language. Part 2 is framing. Higher education may be co-opted by military making teachers into mechanics who assimilate install violent paradigms into students. Educators need to reject all obstruction, open everything up for context to all about for the best policy option to take back to the university military in 15. They call the objective is the activation and point of view teacher reduce the definition and concern with the consequence of pedagogy. Academics should combine the rules of critical education and active sense of pedagogy and higher education will produce no ideas and refuses to privilege isolation and the academy and ideal theory no spectacularities only focus on material condition is epistemologically centered 14. And ideal argues that for any such phenomenon one has to abstract away from certain features of the opportunity what is actual, what is represented and run friends with a sketch about concrete nature of oppression, destruction, which necessitates tangible policies and attempts to situate such disparity not suggest complexity social problems are comparable by anyone ideological frame for when I say policy focus one affability or see scenario plan which planning logic value give them politics colleges bad enhance it creativity deconstruct by the advocacy skills Barbara 16 scenario analysis typically seems policy just on the distrust building encourage myself as a plausible alternative world decision makes to magic turn back this amendment logic content by scenarios help individual breakdown conventional modes of thinking how adapts them to the different present scenarios come to other methodological terms production judging for creativity overturning assumptions you can make demands on institutional reaffirming new attack make demands on state one of the basic strategies such moving on and working within the state reaffirming religion the signals are made from a position outside of the common bunch of fundamental increase use particularly to evaluate how free consequences and more specific and just no potential opposite C. Here's the start point seems to be just the largest assumed critique specific situation can accomplish alone or full critique society pattern does not that power structure will treat particularly just just no subtle-level group of force contamination barriers in a single causal explanation theoretical confirmance must be a sense of particular social context for contesting one AC method is bad why A opponents in mood 6 minutes AC offense forcing temperature when they're sitting on the opponents I'll call all reference because you can read all about often the temperature political space always imperfect and judgment resistant these supports us prepared to defend their gains resistant to abortion groups 193 when no one's right to choose right hand as many celebrate that about how pro-choices and how they terms of shifting against them they build and meet martyrs and leaving them to be radicalized in perfect closure of political space tension and general remain as that destabilization closure part 3 theory. One, most recent periods show huge neck side by side 15, around 61% located RIL failure and 7 like 7 overcome. This is going to be presumed not because we're even around overcome our bias. Also, we presume statement trailers. We have to verify everything, verify verification, causing infinite regress to about after. And I'm going to counter interpretation on T-Day. One is afflex to make it when there's athletes and two areas, too short to win new shells like different things, 2 athletes reciprocal layers instead. More reciprocal avenues to be bonus for response only make an access T because only F has to be doubled so athletes already plus Q3. You know, after your partner make A plus neck another shell be back along to an hour. It's impossible for me to when those layers are two airlets only have something to be pointed out speaks to the north and seeking not to me when I see it both here. I'll take it the first charge for about after his name because it applies everywhere. So most likely the such community knows for these reasons, but if you the bridal and counter definition, there are multiple correct definition of words. You should punish after taking sense and sees reactions of my interpretation follows. She should have propaganda fifth and magnum must have such square seven actors that they put otherwise and they can feel that any response form just substitute so I can't get any unique from the viewpoints that kills applicability because there's no accurate consensus between the two options. They stand their blues arguments and I say one logical for your set the question whether you should read that argument in the first place. People is a conflict reference abuse prevents me from even engaging in language to others who modeling and said that is one area that one is otherwise justify infinite abuse the one you see which always because it is infinite abuse to be one is and must be dropped in the because the one area is too short within substance within the theory and substance and if it is just other argument well one two and argument just concede and kept substance. What?
Did you eat everything?
Everything and then some.
Is everybody good? Everybody good?
Yep.
The Wilson 1 evidence is your inherency, right?
Wilson 2 is probably better inherency.
Okay. This evidence indicates that when professors, for example, speak out against militarism, they are like fired, right? Would you prove that this is so happening so much that it would lead to all of your internal impacts, or like disposability, for example?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you resolve all of the impact of militarism?
The AF resolves a little bit. I'm not saying like it will resolve all of militarism, but it will resolve a little bit of militarism.
Okay. So there are currently no official regulations on military speech, right? Like, you are technically allowed to criticize the military.
No.
No?
Just because.
So what regulations exist? What official regulations exist?
Right, so if UCLA doesn't want people to criticize the military, they're not going to put it on page 3 of their student handbook, but that doesn't mean that the policy is not still official.
That means it's not official.
Yes, it does.
Is there a regulation that is, okay, what evidence indicates that this is true?
The Wilson 2 evidence, not only are there empirical examples when
yes, they are fired, but that doesn't mean it's an official regulation. Okay,
I would hazard a guess that if there is a systemic problem of professors being fired
the full argument on the framing, you say contesting the 1AC method is bad. It's the method of the act policy making.
Yeah.
Okay, so contesting like lapse focus, for example, would be bad.
Yeah.
So under this model B, for example, could the act be filled with like racial slurs and the NC could call them out?
No.
The NC could call them out. And that's a good model of debating.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you rephrase your question?
So for example, if the 1AC said like the N-word, am I allowed to say that's a reason to vote against you? Because it's not about the policy we have.
I would say to an extent, right? Because the 1AC method attempts to set like the rules by which this debate should be adjudicated.
My question is, should like saying things like the N-word be allowed?
I would say that in those specific instances, that is a reason to suspend the rules, but not because that affects whether or not people feel safe within the debate space.
First question. You said there's an implicit AFLAC standard. How much of a standard, like how much abuse do you get?
You weigh against side bias.
Oh, wait, why do I weigh? Why don't you weigh?
Okay, I can weigh against side bias if you'd rather.
Okay, how do you quantify this? Like, for example, a nib, how much empirically is this versus the side bias argument?
I can't give you exact numbers,
okay.
but you can
so
use
how do we weigh?
You use warrants and you make arguments.
Cool. The fourth argument on the theory is reasonability. What's the net benefit to reasonability?
The argument is that
it just says reasonability. There's no net benefit.
Yeah, the argument is that it would be. It's not explicitly stated, but it says you shouldn't punish the after taking a stance if there's multiple correct definitions.
It's not an impact.
I mean, if you wanted to phrase it as an impact, it would be like unnecessary punishment, like undeserved.
What arguments did you extend on the interview?
AF gets 1 and 3.
Just that?
And it should be dropped the debater.
wetland permissibility?
A counter definition.
Left. Here's going to be two updates. It's going to be T, under view, critique.
Critique under view case?
T, theory under view, critique case, yeah. Is everybody good?
Yep.
Interpretation of women must defend that all constitutionally protected speech in all venues ought not be restricted by public policy to universities to clarify they cannot defend removing a specific restriction on speech violation. They only defend criticizing the military not but if one is semantics decisively negate the almost necessity from us to improve law 17. Now the difference is universal and access to any almost necessity called scenario one in cabinet 1192 almost can only be modified universal. The almost necessity the topic example of the universal any university ought not prohibit any constitutionally protected speech. Sentence claiming seconds they use this seems to be very that I can pass by the resolution omitted universal determinator. This is always explain its context that law is specific to the resolution by applying the almost test almost other definitions of just define any in general piece what is topic literature laws reviews multiple surveys and the topic literature as a whole. Second, its limit to interpretation allows a new name infinite number of ASCII fire list 170 speech codes while the differential due phosphorus alone meaning there's 170 plans you can insolvency applicant for white then there's even assuming over authority viable you've just found cases which 50 distinct claim not even kind of permutation plans and non-fire. That's ridiculous. There's no way I can prove that many specific cases. There's also proved all the aspects of low resolution living no life net benefit multiple impacts explains fairness is principles and negative generics like the condensate everyone the cigarettes the accused reference because they'll know what they want to see will be literally every single time. It also means I never get to do a utility because my best labor when it's topic education neg it shows everyone can be about to in the neg test of specific practice scenarios where it's possibly the interpretation of course the neg UI look at the preparation tons of apple the apple because just one this means one and two will say it is soy by one in Collins and every debate since the apple is at least 30 times more popular in my these makes sure the least important genre several lines of ways have to problems obviously instances of speech. Now here was some preamps to the one on counterterpretation first topic was the assholes you can read specific rights and advantages under a whole last year takes out overloading any officer fair just an advantage check is the what you will you plan focus is key to check by picks this argument is wrong is what is wrong solution to picks well really so obviously it should be easy to win one of you against pick voting after saying no when the app is always preemptively abused which always all the offensive magnitude piece when it's no uniqueness linked to individuals can always be abused if they want to be even with plans for discriminating names care board picks etc impact against abuse bad attributors or more likely to be started but that's the only thing they get linked to the 1AC30s or 1 year overriding counterterpretation that they claim they solve the next claim but those plans are self-solving because every activator doing any plan goes on understand law to negative or often or others arbitrary and limits at least infinite investments that we do use them just by the unpredictable interpretation the evidence solve the world in neck voters one fairness voters as well ask you to do better rating you can make decision accurate as well as unfair second fairness outweighs education losses are possible or like can always be double on the top of the later to over we do to increase last year of the good thing but unfair decision permanent third drop the rate drop the argument seven such because shift the whole lot because the ones that are funny on the self because what is easy quantities feel out of them which is always also they use both in communication to use the rest of our shows people applying arbitrary invention with a judgment value of on, even if you set a violation, it's arbitrary, allowing you to set a violation that always gets you, lets you get away with abuse, i.e. why is a counter definition sufficient to solve? You're not justified this, it is entirely arbitrary. Fifth is no RBI, 6 RBI, for protecting use our nation, theory, case my opponent could win the theory with an RBI, this first pass as they knew what they were defending opponent, but I didn't show you choose from theory, or anything because I was all the offense on 9, it was for home because the last round was no chance of winning, except the beast, 6 is topicality, I always wanting a theory, it's a sequencing question, I would that you would have that would justify me being abusive, I would be able to be abusive if I didn't have to be T, which means you uniquely cause me abuse, it means you should have argued the T to a person, I wanted it means my duties were justified for the violation. Now, case on the underview of overview, allow me to know responses to AC spikes and tricks. This is key to negative strategies. Spikes are not complete arguments, and this also applies to the K of we have spikes are not complete arguments because they've not been applied to my NC strategy yet, but which means I have no way of knowing how they're being used, forcing me to respond in the only season possible because I don't know how they function. Now on the adler evidence, it's hard to negate. This isn't the argument speech by the way. It's hard to negate. It's what you speak for something equipped in. One fact of the one is you can leverage 3 1 5. You can trade break that because basically plenty of a massive problem when you're online is piece one is one of the ability you allowed you collapsing and shoes which actually appear the way this always out because you can have it remove the entirety one of the sudden favor people who lie as one of you again. Second is projective view. One is we don't know the p-values because we don't know the statistics and the two charged by the fact that bias is so tiny percent is insignificant. Piece of when it doesn't take into all causes like 2 1 decision quality videos how bias the videos and TSU after the majority of the this point just because negative one doesn't mean it's hard to form just these people don't do enough drills now you all the eyes out you on Afflex it's when it creates the night apps class winner when you're all the time. Piece what is that show and Chuyo has a what's I don't know if you're gonna go in on theory and then Chuyo and then you know now you say West Boston no you can West defend the conquest and condo battle between two simple now you say that after theory comes like flip fire it's what is that this is the same one that the RBI and Afflex said which means the same with constant supply. This one is that this will just like infinite views as will be hella views of then just we one theory skills with theory because this one is what I got my line solve you should have this super fucked out now on your reasonability on your ace when it says no justification for this there's no substantiation or argument for why reasonability would be good which means you have no reason you should get 1 or constructive arguments for this opportunities outweighs because it's judge intervention which is irreversible and these what it says there's no impact to this punishing people i.e. there's no impact to this one is shown reasonability puts a nib on me and we got you should reject reasonability violence puts a nib on me now you say neg must defend neg must defend this or the same action counter-interpretation is the neg can defend a counter method key to critical education none of your offense solves you are literally fearing that things happen now critique first next off the 1AC is built on a fantasy big corporation aims to include people within the university this increasing your share posted to office and necessary outside who's human has to speak up from because those who can articulate the language humanity what is necessary is addition to the human organism acclimation of the level of space not quite human with healing 14 we did also as a legal position inclusion based on equal distribution of life chance allowing for differences between humans non-human as voting corporation with my money man across the coast of population the legal definition counteract with what got center on for either from being kind of operation on quality on what obligation of ministers and this figure the correction man is which has had several action positions on things he said as some interest can do everything what associated key or case because even now quite human said host program the deconstruct commanders category that's the mole of the college deconstruct the man with too which comes to find the north color subject around Venus and human relations with race relax of the human is found by everything symbolic question way civilization produce a massacre that I just reach you from our criminal can to actually strategy tries to maintain extreme graduation sexual orientation all how fast man to reach human this is human also like specific about calculates the open to the how to college man thus all we upon the base fiscus and relational set that shines towards the hierarchies and flashing line of light and new traffic we do is finish open to us number words dialectic of both the world mineral and actual this is another real operation for you and teaching genres of humanity with you 3 Black Saints can all play humanity right love subject of Black City movement of water look for with the command you so humanity which is this is not all about politics of other face because it's translates to custom to a potentiality and wants us to cause weapons to live away from captivity we say and anyways else was a man who was saying I know within a higher considered flash now our case on the quick chief you see what is that all the whole critique is about legal plus being matters means voting on is on YouTube why all legal plus being included these what is that obviously well rather we need to focus on maps in some cases for example CX was embarrassing i.e. If you say something really racist we should be able to contest that see what it says no reason I don't want need because you want about that
okay thanks ready?
Yep.
The vote on T is fairness, correct?
Yep.
Cool. Let's talk about the cat. What in the world is habeas fiscus?
The alternative or like the general theory?
Give me a 30 or 10-second rundown.
Okay, sure. The 1AC says that you have a conception of legal personhood, i.e. voices should be included.
Where does the
perspectives should be
1AC have a conception of legal personhood?
Yeah, a lot of arguments in the acting. Like, for example, say that we should try to go into the university, should go change the military, should go speak on college campuses, for example. To speak
So
out.
the 1AC says people should do things, and that links.
No, that wasn't what I just said. Do you want me to explain it more?
I'm wondering what specifically about
Yes.
the app advocacy.
Yes. So like the argument that like people should go protest on campuses, or we should have a lot of diverse movements, or trying to reform from within all different links. I can tell you why that's a link if you want me to.
So
explain.
saying we should have a movement is a link?
Do you want me to just explain the critique that would make the link analysis clear? I do.
If you can do it quickly, yes.
Yeah, the critique just says that conceptions of personhood and trying to reform the state are bad because it necessitates a category of people who are not included, i.e. The gay rights movement incorporated like privileged white gay males so they can get married, but then it pushed queer people of color, for example, further up to the margins because they are so locked up at ridiculously high rates.
Okay,
So,
when the 1AC allows anybody to speak criticizing the military on campus, who does it exclude?
that's our argument, the idea that anyone can critique the military excludes people who like homeless and can't go on the college campus or
Who participates in the alt?
anyone who experiences
So
marginalization,
everyone.
anyone who is not recognized in the system. No. It's not the idea of anyone is bad. It's those who are not included within recognized spaces.
If you point me to a line in the 1AC that says only white people or only men or only the European subject can utilize the freedom of speech.
That's just silly. Obviously, that's not an argument. Obviously, the 1AC doesn't say only white people can speak. That, like, this is a ridiculous conversation.
Okay. Status of the alt.
Unconditional.
Which comes first, the K or T?
No disrespect.
I would really appreciate it if you did.
No, thank you.
Okay. So on T real quick, you say topicality outweighs one error theory. In general, you didn't read the A point, did you?
Nope.
Okay, good, because you read non-T apps all the time.
Switch side to big fan.
The sequencing question, this is just app abuse justifies negative use, correct?
No, it's that if I prove you were non-topical, then that justifies me being abusive because obviously I would have went this strategy had you been like topical and I had a fair shot at winning.
Okay. I'm gonna start prep.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Hopefully it'll slide.
It's unfortunate. Did I miss any slides?
No, thank you.
Alright, I'll just leave this.
Yeah, in case I do it again. Yeah, thank you.
When you read the counter interpretation that you should be able to defend the counter method, what was the response you made to object fiat?
That's literally the app. You're forgetting that the government no longer does the thing that uses release date.
Okay. Can I see your computer for the analytics you read?
Sure, but they're just like a couple things I like typed up in fast.
I trust you. I just want to look at
A lot I didn't do that. Honestly.
Does the case say political engagement is bad?
It says that creating conceptions of legal personhood is bad.
what do we do when we engage in the halt?
It's a method of resisting the legal procedure. I think a good example is the Black Panthers. Instead of trying to use the legal system to recognize the subject, they embrace their space outside of it and got liberation or resistance through that method.
The impact of the K.
The regulatory evidence indicates that it causes all forms of violence because all bodies are compared to this standard of leniency. So the impact would be, for example, militarism. It's an explanation of how your power operates, and that's a counter method to resolve it.
Is that correct? Yes, I can.
You flashing your stuff?
It's all
Nothing pre-written.
pre-written things, but I'll just flash it. Whatever.
Yeah, that'd be
Sorry, how much prep do you have left?
30 seconds. Do you want to be on the chain?
I don't really care one way or the other. I mean, if I need to see it after the round, then I will want to see it.
I will play you on it.
I don't view the docs typically during the speeches.
Admirable.
Yeah, to each their own.
What's the order?
Nuoff, T, Nuoff, T, Underview, ACK.
Sorry, order one more time. I just was not focused.
No
Now I
problem.
am.
Nuoff, T, Underview, ACK.
Sounds good.
Everybody ready?
Agency interpretation of bears must not be evidence from for purchase to be a violation of the law. Evidence from the victory proof which you have to pay for. One is accessibility gives the bears with access to receive in terms of evidence supercharged because judges give cars higher ratings and analytics accessibility controls all the math because people can't take advantage of debates on the process. Second, evidence that there's really say bonus chronic community treat personal beings of formative meters like laws and empirical facts from mischaracters. They can be bonus perverse and sentences. Also go to school student styles and check articles to support the strategies thrown out as interpretation becomes the norm. Cultural published articles on public races like premier and seven retains all the benefits, solves access crossed by the paradigm issues from the T shell, now T proper. Counter-interpretation is firmly made to find a certain attributes or restrictions and subsequent card reviews in the literature that opposites those counter-interpretation finds any used in negative statements summary in the response amount provided a combination of the others. So, here towards common definition should be context because the resolution negative statement that benefits the outline focus and shows that education about horizontally, even specifically educated John Evan generic is always a point. Here towards unwilling TOC comics 4 months for recent generics get safely put in the magic cross by draw 7 contesting amounts of spills over to actual chains over always because the materials are going to get first because some layers are more teams and cushions probably nuances that reveals the best way around. Then on the interpretation proper first on semantics 1 there's no impact to semantics 2 there's no jurisdiction motor second half is invading another topic of these laws 99% close up 5 1 paragraphs no half and signaling down limits first during interpretation laws picks out any part of the topic of A you are often not using same research of the plus B always because they can react to that that picks mood AC often cited under interpretation laws because they don't limit restrictions and instead that's called this goes means you couldn't practice something for years after limits say the arbitrary number rather for X number has become 2 many for that something told you the apple for the range means you could align by line and fit turn you over limit only to horizontal because half like the restriction says then on the preamp first on topic of version I have one the counter interpretation says the reason why specific aspect but it's and then they will justify generic test because class restriction says that on one air theory solves arguments on pigs first is bad recourse this time's good to 2.5 problems second for supercharge because pigs move the 1AC so I know I have a substance now where she does she has the can third goes substance education because every round collapses to the thing and I'm preemptive abuse one defensive question I'm abusive you have plenty fair substance answers car had gymnastics politics and evidence etc and third even if abuse still possible we minimize it now self-serving limits by limit the arbitrary just says half me and hero which is already commonly accepted in our arguments second arguments get arrest policy because it can't reach who's all the ones because we need equal start hoping for evaluating around and just turn they say Shelley effective turn arguments only show that use increased substance education and then they say it's a rest policy however this rest policy argument is absurd because the neg literally cannot violate a teach-off then on that under beyond arguments until I concede the defense on Affleck's argument but on rest policy she says it gets certain theoretical arguments but we both have access to theory only she has access to which means I get arguments and she specifically not that problem. 1. First, extend Row 13. The role about to take back the University of Melbourne dealings often isn't just about consequences, but pedagogy we should engage in by even engaging in debate that can see open space for conversations. It also recruits their impact social difference in inevitable military and makes them antagonistic by positive guns and that. So that's Row 16 then. Extend the charging matter out in case of material guns is a good idea. At least to the one sees allowing anti-military discourse shifts away from culture that glorifies the military means that every violence against minority groups such charging matter also occurs that abscate all some gay opponents who can enact the alternative you're being shot in the street and be pointed to military takes the individual mindset so they end up militarizing the whole itself not on the Cape Robert. First, there's literally no link. Individuals can choose whether or not they're incorporated into the university system by choosing whether or not they want to use free use. We don't incorporate them, we simply give them an option. Second, there's the link differential. People are planning on incorporating the university in plenty of other ways. However, the 1AC resolves a ton of military and worse, a very small link to the case to prioritize the impact of the 1AC. We prioritize the impact of the 1AC, then impact way across by drug 15 made military independently outweighs case. They put into division of inevitable military makes them antagonistic, so controls internally to the lines of the game. The viewpoint strength is first week that criticize the military is the worst, is small link to the game, but the literary military, and then on the rollabout, kind of rollabouts for reject military, they both impact with participation arbitrarily exclude impacts. Then for dissess that all first is crossed by the hunting evidence seems political. That means you never get anything done. The second dissess after people won't want to go outside the movement because people are lazy, they won't engage in these alternate strategies. It means people never actually take the alt and perm do both. We can operate outside the system but still not have these restrictions. Then perm the after the laws they can overcome steps, but can overcome one more link. So the perm is a bunch of sequence across by atoms draw protect military the prerequisite thought process of the cat.
Did you read everything here?
In the doc, I didn't read what I had written for perm do both. I accept something else instead. How much perm do you have?
250. You said the violation was that the lawless evidence is from BDI. The lawless evidence is from Lottie, which is a free source. Why do I violate?
We know this one.
overview, you don't have to vote, but overview, then critique, theory T.
Overview, critique, theory, T.
Is that pretty good? You're gonna have to go for theory. You're gonna have to go for theory or T because you are gonna be crushed on the critique debate. You conceded that. Ultimately, I told you in prop time that we do not disagree that militarism is bad thing, but rather we have an explanation for why militarism goes or how it operates, which means only we are gonna be able to resolve a case, which is pretty damning considering that's the only possible benefit you have on the critique. Now, on the critique debate problem, we agree that restriction of speech is probably a bad thing. The question is how do we resist institutional policing of speech? One AC says that we should try to have legal protection to stop what the government is doing in order to protect our rights. We instead of from the potentiality of restricting speech because it pushes us to create language that are unintelligible to all the men when speech is restricted. It doesn't just go away like the IC says, but rather it's subverted, subverting censorship. Think of slave songs like After the River Slaves were able to create language to create lines of light away from surveillance. This is an unintelligibility, not benefit. We are what healing to the alternative race language that cannot be tracked by the state apparatus, which means we solve case better than you do. If we win the we solve case, that is a reason why that you can't win case and it is game over on the critique debate because all of your net benefits are from a case. Additionally, there were just no also can't solve arguments in the last speech, which means you should definitely air negative on this question. Now, they said they were all about to deconstruct the European man. You conceded that we explain what structures of oppression like militarism are cool, i.e. why do you think we bomb countries in the Middle East because they are not recognized as human? Why do you think we create disposable populations because they are not seen as human, which means only we controlling root cause of this impact is also our waste case. The WikiLeaks says the root cause of all because all bodies are marginalized because they don't exist state of humanity, which means all people are compared against this, which creates the conditions for exclusion. Now, alternative is hemisphere is a method of enforcing alternative standings that are here humanity outside the theoretical space, creating opportunity of humanity. They are interrupted by racialized combinations. Instead of trying to incorporate bodies that are in proportion of we increase these spaces outside of it. Things like the Black Panthers. Now, flaming question here is that you conceded the free fiat is illusory. That was those were the arguments for why what matter. I guess the polls making arguments for why it's a representational critique with which you can weigh material impacts because you do not resolve any of them. Now, your first argument is there's no link. There's no link. Yes, there is definitely a link. The helio evidence indicates that you were trying to incorporate voices, incorporate bodies. The whole point of the app is trying to incorporate voices to critique the military, which necessitates a category being outside of it. You say your next argument is that militarism is always somebody said yes, we agree militarism is super bad. We solved cases. We explained how militarism operates, which means only we analyze this. This one is that the critique of waste on root cause. Even if you solve some violence, we create a root cause of arguments that you say you're kind of all about. It's not competitive. We just explain what militarism is now. You'll overview in the computation. If I have one that they kind of plan solves cases, no way the old solves cases, no reason to vote in the kind of vote in the kind of plan. You didn't extend any polls making good arguments now. First is that is all of the links you try to incorporate bodies, which makes us intelligible, which takes away any benefits to the alternative. This one is any benefit to the alternative. This one is footnoting this that the whole point of the alt is focusing on liberal spaces. The people who can't go protest militarism and hold campuses, for example, which takes out your arguments. Now, additionally, you proved home to the app and the old know that's the intelligibility. Just that ace point is that you make us intelligible. You make our voices heard, which creates the necessary categories exist outside of these point is they can't overcome the links. It's a we feel representation arguments. We don't need freedom of speech. We don't need freedom of speech. Additionally, since the impact of the app, the pushing is so big, and you do not have a huge impact. The risk of being linked is sufficient, and risk of a decentralized permutation is sufficient. But now, theory is this is pretty damning. I made this show. The loudest evidence is from a Lottie website, which is not a painful brief, which is which is a textbook interpretation. Which ace point means I tell me the textbook interpretation, and you must be held to the textbook interpretation because theory is about norm setting. This point is I mean the spirit of interpretation as well because it's not inaccessible and it's celebrity accessible. Additionally, counter-interpretation debaters may use evidence from online debate sources. Now, if it is actual evidence in the context of debate, i.e. lawlessness, are actually in the context of debate, looking at evidence and making arguments which is more applicable. Now, it takes out your acceptability arguments, accessible evidence. Now you say evidence ethics, but it's not an opinion, but rather some guy making an analysis, which is he's more qualified to do because he's in the activity. This one is that, no, he's in the activity now. You said there were no dissent, it will become a norm. Yes, he counterinterprets the norm now. This is just over. I completely need the shell now. Theory. You say all the arguments, but you conceded preempted weighing theory because outweighs all of your arguments because it prevents me from having any check on abuse, which prevents me from ever winning any debate. Now you conceded that I won't want to be weighing theory because you'll be hella fucked on this debate. Your only response is that it only shows frivolous theory. No, it shows legitimate theory because you're going to be hella frontlined on TNE, for example, and just have one of your scripts, and I won't be able to go for it because I won't want to read because you'll go for it. And now just which takes out that argument. Piece one is that there's no impact to substance education, and you can see that only fairness matter theory recourse always because it leads to better substance education in the long run. Now you say reciprocity, you can see that you get things like condo bad, for example, and neg plus defending Congress would see the exact same equivalent of T, which takes out all abuse. Additionally, you can see that I get new responses to cross applications, which means I'll just make new responses now. Piece one is piece point of response to reciprocity is alternative solvency. You can get access to things. You can get all of you. Actually, piece point is it's more reciprocal because it's more reciprocal for you to not have RBIs because the theory is not is already a two-way street. You can read one of your theory based on my voters, or you can impact on via fairness reform. So giving you another is less reciprocal. So this one is there's no reason reciprocity actually matters. There's no material impact to this. It's just a signifier of it's not reciprocal, but there's no material impact to this happening.
30 seconds. All right. The order is T. And on T, it's going to be the shell, and then the RBS stuff, and then the underview. There we go.